Welcome to Sparking Dark's Life Coaching, Session 5. Decisions. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Before sunrise, before coffee, before the mirror fogs and the headlines hum, we are already choosing feet to the floor or 5 more minutes, gratitude or grievance. The day opens like a corridor lined with doors, and a decision is the hand on the handle that declares a direction. A decision is not merely a preference, it is a hinge that swings our momentum toward one future and away from another. Some choices are tiny and whisper quiet, yet they siphon attention and energy we might need later. Others are thunderclaps that rearrange the furniture of our lives. All of them, minute or monumental, ask something real of us: presence, intention, courage. By nightfall, the weight of those asks often explains our tired eyes. Choice is work, and it is holy work because it is the signature of our agency. When we forget that, we drift. When we remember it, we become authors again of this hour, this season, this one life we have been trusted to carry. I have spent my life studying the anatomy of choice. My first mission was precise and urgent: to improve the employment landscape for people who are blind. That meant confronting policies that treated talent like an afterthought and confronting assumptions that confused accommodation with charity. It meant showing employers what I already knew: capability is abundant. It simply asks for a fair path to belong. But missions expand when love learns more of the world. The deeper I went, the clearer it became that work is only one strand in the braid of independent living. Transportation, housing, health, relationships, and civic voice are all braided together with employment. Pull one thread, and the whole weave loosens. Strengthen one, and the others grip tighter. Over time, my mission widened into a promise to help build a world where all people with disabilities live independently, with agency over the contours of their days. It was a larger vow, but not a different one. It was still, at heart, about decisions: who gets to make them, and whether systems help or hinder their making. To understand the stakes, you must see institutionalization at its core. Institutionalization is not only a place, it is a pattern. It is a life where decisions are outsourced. Someone else tells you when the lights go out, which shirt you may wear, what time the van arrives, whether your friendships are permitted, whether you can earn a living, whether your opinion counts. Even after the building is left behind, the habit of outsourcing can linger like an echo, and an echo can feel like truth. We once supported a woman newly freed from that world. Her team offered a small, dignifying mission: go to a busy shopping center food court and buy a hamburger. It was meant to be practice in public choice. But when she found there was no place selling hamburgers that day, the mental map collapsed. Surrounded by menus and noise and strangers, she froze. Choosing something else felt like translating a language she had never been taught. Overwhelm swelled. Home felt like the only safe option. That moment could have become a verdict on her capacity. Instead, it became a beginning. With tools, coaching, and time, she learned to ask questions, scan options, decide, and carry out her choice. The next visit looked different. The third looked better still. By the 10th, she was not just picking lunch, she was practicing sovereignty, one clear decision at a time. You and I may not have lived behind official walls, but we have all been trained at first to follow. Childhood is the original institution, and thank goodness for it. Children survive because parents and guardians decide for them, yet the handoff to self-authorship is uneven. Some families apprentice their children early in choosing: pick your shirt, order your food, make the call, solve the small conflict, feel the texture of consequence. Others protect so thoroughly that adulthood feels like receiving keys to a car you've never driven on a highway. Still others carry the trauma of scarcity or control, and decisions there are taught with fear, not freedom. The result is a wide spectrum. Some of us reach adulthood with a practiced confidence. Some arrive with courage but little skill. Others arrive with skill but little courage. Wherever we land on that spectrum, there is good news. Decision making is a muscle. It strengthens with use, it falters when neglected, and it improves fastest when exercised thoughtfully with grace for our missteps. One clarifying question steadies me when the noise swells. Is this a want or a need? The word or is not a courtroom, it is a classroom. Wants are not sins, needs are not scolds. They are both voices that deserve a hearing. My craving might demand a greasy cheeseburger with extra mayonnaise, immediate, delicious, a small party for the tongue. My body might plead for a salad, crisp and clean, fuel for the next few hours. A wise decision can honor both. A single hamburger without cheese or mayonnaise, stacked with extra lettuce and tomato, with pickles and onions for bite. We can balance our wants and our needs to make an informed choice, the choice we truly want, because it satisfies the whole of us. We can also design rewards on purpose. A week of healthy eating earns the full cheeseburger with extra mayonnaise and a grin. Reward is not failure, it is acknowledgement of effort. The point is not ascetic perfection. The point is conscious alignment between appetite and well-being. That alignment, practiced in lunches and bedtimes and budgets, readies us for the crossroads that do not fit on a plate. As the magnitude of a decision grows, so should your circle of wisdom. Moving to a new city, changing careers, returning to school, closing a chapter that once felt permanent. These are not choices to make in the thin air of isolation. Seek two kinds of counsel. First are the resources, people who have faced an equivalent fork and can tell you where the maps were wrong and where the bridge shook underfoot. They are not commanders, they are lanterns, shining a practical beam over the rocks and roots that once tripped them. Study their detours, borrow their maps. Second are the voices of those who will feel the aftershocks of what you choose. Spouse, children, family, close friends, colleagues who share your work. Invite them not to vote your conscience away, but to expand your field of vision. Ask what they see from their angle on the hillside. When people you love feel consulted rather than surprised, support rises, and support becomes the soft shoulder you lean on while the new path breaks in. Still, decision fatigue is real. The brain burns fuel to choose, and our era asks us to evaluate almost everything all the time. News and diets, doctors and devices, careers and coffee mugs, phone plans and streaming platforms. One mercy is to simplify the trivial so you can be present for the consequential. Create defaults that serve your values. Eat the same healthy breakfast on weekdays. Put your clothes out the night before. Schedule movement as if it were a meeting you respect. Use a budget rule that every unexpected dollar is split between generosity, savings, and joy. Automate bills. Pre-decide your response to common temptations. If I work late, I will still step outside for 10 minutes of air before dinner. Defaults are not prisons, they are scaffolding. They save premium energy for moments that merit it. When the truly important decision arrives, you will not squander your courage on a question your calendar could have answered. It also helps to practice with experiments. Fear grows monstrous in the unknown, light shrinks it. When possible, try on a decision before you buy it. Shadow someone in the field you are considering. Take a night class before leaving a day job. Rent before you purchase. Spend a week living as if you had already made the move. Wake at the required hour. Mimic the commute. Run the numbers. Explore the neighborhood. Study how the rhythm touches your body and your relationships. A pilot project is not hesitation. It is humility with initiative. It says, I respect the future enough to court it carefully. Experiments give you data. Data gives you language. Language gives you courage. Not the bravado that ignores risk, but the grounded kind that can name risk and proceed anyway. Even with best practices, some decisions refuse to be clean. All paths include loss. Leaving a role that no longer fits may still mean leaving colleagues whose laughter built your mornings. Staying close for family may still mean setting down a dream that asks for distance. When no option absolves you from sorrow, change the question. Instead of, which will hurt least today, ask, which loss can I carry with integrity and for how long? Pain is not proof you chose poorly. Sometimes it is the tuition of meaning. A good decision is not always the most comfortable one. It is the one that keeps faith with your values and your responsibilities. We can forgive ourselves for the ache if the ache is bonded to purpose. We can bless the cost if the cost purchases what matters most. Another discipline is hunting for win-wins in nearby opportunities. Creativity is a muscle in the body of choice. A move to a new school district may unsettle friendships for your children, and that deserves tenderness. The same move might grant them a bigger room for creativity, a safer street for learning to ride, and a park within walking distance where joy is not scheduled but found. Trimming expenses may feel like surrendering brand names and certain conveniences, but the very act of saving may buy a memory. A week abroad each year, a grandparent's visit, a debt vanishing from the ledger. The art is to name the gains aloud, not only the costs, so your courage hears the music under the math. When wants and needs negotiate in good faith, they often invent a third way that neither considered at first. A smaller home near a beloved trail, a slower promotion with richer evenings, a different kind of school that asks more of today but returns more over a lifetime. Underneath technique lies identity. We are not only deciders of direction, we are deciders of meaning. The story you tell about your choice shapes the courage you bring to it. If you treat your decision like a pass-fail exam graded by strangers, fear will grade you before you begin. If you frame it as a chapter in the book of your values, the writing gets clearer. I think often of that woman in the food court. She was not merely picking a meal. She was learning to say, "My voice counts." The first time she chose, the choice wobbled and needed a hand. The next time, she steadied herself. Eventually, she walked in, scanned the options, asked a question, decided, paid, and found a table. The food fed her body, the choosing fed her dignity. That is what good decisions do. They nourish identity even as they organize our days. If you are supporting someone who is relearning how to choose, your decisions matter too. Choose patience over rescue. Choose questions over control. What do you want? What feels right to you? Would you like me near, or would you like to try this alone? Independence does not grow in the shadow of someone else's certainty. It grows in the warmth of respect. Systems can be redesigned and policies rewritten, and they should be, but the daily culture of dignity is built in ordinary conversations where we bring humility, curiosity, and care. When a person falters, treat the falter as practice, not proof. Autonomy is strengthened by repetition and guarded by trust. When you stand at a threshold today, begin by breathing. Bless the fact that you get to choose. Then, with compassion for yourself, do the simple work. Name the want, name the need, name the people who will be touched by what you decide, and invite their wisdom at the right time. Collect a few lanterns from those who have walked this path. Sketch a small experiment. Set gentle defaults that carry you when your energy dips. If the choice remains murky, ask what story you are telling and whether that story is kind and true. Ask which loss you can carry with grace and which gain will still matter a year from now. Decide how you will reward yourself for the effort of deciding well. Put the support you need on your calendar as if it were sacred, because it is. Mark the decision when it comes. Say it out loud at dinner. Write it in a notebook with the date. Place a token on your desk, an old key, a smooth stone, a ribbon that your hand can touch when doubt whispers. Decisions are not spells that guarantee ease. They are commitments that ask for follow-through. The world will offer distractions dressed as alternatives, and panic dressed as wisdom. Expect the wobble. Expect slow mornings and restless nights. Expect to remember why you chose and forget and remember again. This is not failure. It is the physics of change. Keep orienting toward the values that guided you. Keep feeding the habits that support you. Let discipline be memory, memory of what you want most. My work, from job sites to state houses, from boardrooms to bustling food courts, has convinced me that independence is the quiet heartbeat of a healthy society. The freedom to make decisions, to succeed by our effort and learn by our missteps, is a birthright that ripens through practice. When a man once barred from employment chooses between two job offers, the air itself seems to applaud. When a woman once told whom to date sets boundaries and seeks partnership rooted in respect, history shivers and resettles. When a teenager who used to avoid the lunch line decides what to eat and sits with new friends, the future brightens by a watt you can actually feel. These are not small things. They are the architecture of a life that belongs to the person living it, and the architecture of communities strong enough to welcome difference without diminishing it. So here is my invitation as we close. Let today be both rehearsal and renewal. You do not have to be perfect to be free. You need to be present. Return to the principles that anchor you when the noise swells. Attend to reality without self-deception. Balance the appetite of the moment with the needs of the future. Honor the web of relationships you belong to. Choose experiments over fantasies. Harvest creativity for win-wins. Accept that some costs are worth paying for what they purchase in meaning. Steward your energy by defaulting the trivial so you can attend to what matters. And then decide, kindly, clearly, and with enough humility to change course if new truth arrives. In the end, decision-making is not only the technology of progress, it is the poetry of becoming. Each choice is a line in the poem of your days, a rhythm you repeat until it becomes a song you can dance to even in dark rooms. Some lines will be plain and practical, others blazing and brave, but together they will say who you were and what you valued when it mattered. Open the door that aligns with the person you are becoming. Walk past the ones that glitter but betray your core. And if you find yourself in a corridor you never planned to travel, do what the strongest among us do. Turn your face toward the next good door, place your hand on the handle, listen for the voice inside that cares for your future, and make the next right choice. Then the next, then the next. This is how a life is written, decision by decision, until, looking back, you see a path that looks like courage and feels like home,